Users in the LDC community of practice have requested that CoreTools be improved to enable them to specify in their modules precise grade-level Common Core standards instead of the generic anchor standards that have been used in the past, and this change has now been implemented. Modules designed in CoreTools are no longer built from the Common Core anchor standards as shown here. Instead, modules in CoreTools are now built from the grade-level Common Core standards, which will greatly improve a teacher's ability to unpack the literacy expectations the Common Core has for their students. In this example, you see it's an 8th grade social studies module, so CoreTools automatically assumes you want to look at the 8th grade level Common Core standards for language, reading, speaking and listening, and writing. And of course, when we click on these, we see the much more precise and specific grade level Common Core standards for the 8th grade. This will enable teachers to be much more strategic and specific when planning their modules' texts, skills, and instruction. This is because, of course, a teacher will have the opportunity now to look much more closely at the specific demands of the grade-level Common Core standards and design their instruction accordingly. This also improves a teacher's ability to scaffold instruction for multi-level classrooms. And this functionality will allow teachers of different grade levels to design modules based on similar topics and teaching tasks while being able to target the actual instruction toward the specific literacy demands of the grade level. As you see here, perhaps I want to align this module with 12th grade Common Core standards, and I now see those standards instead of the 8th grade ones. The CoreTools Common Core Standards interface still functions virtually the same as it has in the past, and it's still mostly an automated process that includes some Common Core standards built in by LDC, depending on the template task, while allowing users to add additional standards when appropriate to do so. So let's look at two quick examples. If I identify a module as a 5th grade ELA module, and I use upper elementary template task number 1 for building my teaching task, CoreTools now assumes that I want to use the informational text reading standards for the 5th grade, as I see here. And of course, I will get the writing standards and the speaking and listening, language, and foundational skill standards for the 5th grade. Now, since it's an ELA module, I always have the option of switching my reading standards from informational text to literature if appropriate to do so given the text and the teaching tasks used in my module, because of course the Common Core offers specific reading standards for literature and other standards for informational texts. Also, perhaps I look closely at the grade 5 standards and I make the determination that my students still need to meet the grade 4 standards. I can adjust which grade level here. And now, instead of seeing the 5th grade standards, I'm looking at the 4th grade standards for all of these different areas. Now that I've settled on which grade level and reading strand to use, I see that the appropriate reading and writing standards are built in, depending on the template task that I chose, and I can add other ones as needed. So one last demonstration. Let's say I have a 9th and 10th grade level science module, and I use template task number 17 to come up with my teaching task. The system will suggest to me using the grade 10 Common Core standards, as I see here. It correctly assumes that I want to use the science and technical subjects reading standards and the discipline-specific writing standards since it's a science module. I'm able to, of course, once again, specify which particular standards I want to add in addition to the built-in ones. And you'll also see that when any Common Core grade level standard has child standards under the parent standard, I can expand and see all of those standards as well. I'm able to add all of those standards to my module just by checking one box. And if I decide that those aren't the appropriate standards, even though it's a science module, I have the ability to adjust which reading strand I want to look at. So to sum up, CoreTools now enables users to add to their modules the appropriate and precise grade level Common Core standards they are addressing instead of the more generic anchor standards. The system will suggest the appropriate reading strand and grade level of the standards based on how the user identifies the module, but the user can override those suggestions when necessary. As always, LDC builds in the appropriate standards based on the template task used. Finally, by identifying the precise Common Core grade level standards a teacher will address, he or she will be better equipped to choose texts, define literacy skills, and develop instruction that will help his or her students meet those standards. That's it for now. Thank you for using LDC Core Tools.